Welcome to Expats Everywhere. Can you tell me your name, where you're from, and a little bit about your background?
Hello, my name is Carly. I'm an ESL teacher. I'm from California. I've been teaching ESL now for 4 years. I taught in Istanbul, Turkey for 1 year, the US in LA and San Francisco for 2 years, and then now I'm teaching in Saudi Arabia.
Great. So, what was it like working in Istanbul?
It was awesome. I had one of the best experiences of my life. I worked a lot, but I also hung out a lot, and it's such a great city to explore. So, on my off time, I really got to just see the culture of the city and the history of the city, and I was really fortunate that I got to live there.
What kind of job did you have there?
I was a language school teacher, so I worked split shifts. With when you work at a language school, the way it works is you work 4 hours in the morning and then you work 2 hours in the evening. So it's like a split shift. So I would wake up early, go to work, then I'd have my couple hours in between to drink my tea, like relax, and then go back to work in the evening. And our days off were either Sunday and Monday or Thursday, Friday, because I worked every weekend. So it was busy, but it was awesome at the same time.
All right. And did you know anyone else who had a different type of job than a language school?
Yeah, I had friends who worked at high schools. So those guys, they would go to work at like 7, and they'd be done like at 3 or 4 o'clock. And they did that Monday through Friday. So they had Saturdays and Sundays off. And then the university teachers, they had a different schedule as well. So I don't know if they had morning classes or evening classes, but they had a lot more flexibility.
Okay, let's start with the language school. How much did you earn at the language school?
So when I worked there, I was making 18 lira an hour, which at the time was around $9 an hour. But what was nice is they actually offered lodging. So when I first got to Istanbul, someone picked me up at the airport. They took me straight to my accommodation where I shared a 3-bedroom with 2 other girls. And the whole entire building was other ESL teachers at the same language school. So for the first 3 months, I had free lodging. After that, they give you a stipend. So though I wasn't making a lot of money, I still had the lodging for free for the first couple months. And then after that, I had my stipend, which ended up covering the rent for when I got my own place.
All right. And you said you had friends in high school and university. What did those salaries look like?
Not sure about the high school, but I know right now I have a friend who's working there, and he did language school for a couple years, and then he did university. But the university he's at now, I think he's making around $3,000 a month, which is really good for Istanbul.
All right. So, off of what you earn, do you think that's enough money to live in Istanbul?
I do. If you can live a comfortable life, and I always felt I was living a comfortable life, and towards the end, because I knew I wanted to go traveling, I just had to kind of not spend as much money, really budget, and I was able to save a little bit of money. And at the end of my contract, I got a bonus, and the bonus was actually in dollars. So if you fulfilled your bonus, excuse me, if you fulfilled your contract, then they give you a bonus, so you have that money as well.
So, you say you had a comfortable lifestyle. What did that look like?
I was able to go out to eat, go out to bars, and the food there is really cheap. So again, food didn't cost a lot of money, which was like a perk about living there, because when you're living in the US, food is so expensive, but in Turkey it wasn't. But I'd go out and have great breakfasts or a nice dinner or have like a super fun night out on the town, and I still had a little bit of money at the end of the month. So everything is just a lot cheaper there compared to other places.
So, if you wanted to save a lot of money, what kinds of things would you have to cut out?
Probably going out, which is hard to do in a city like that because there's always so much to do, and there's always some new bar to go to, or there's always some like fun like art exhibit to go to, or new like artist or musician coming into town, because it's a pretty cosmopolitan city. So you have like music bands that will come in, so you just can't do the normal fun stuff that you would want to do. Maybe instead of going out like 2 or 3 times a week, you go out once a week.
How did you meet friends to do all this stuff?
Well, like I said before, I lived in like an apartment with other people, and the entire building was all expats like me. And so I made friends, the building that I lived in, but also through the school that I worked at. So it was great because they became kind of my homies that I hung out with all the time. So I worked with them and we hung out, but it was great. So I kind of had a built-in like friend network like straight away, which is great. I'm pretty social, so it was easy for me.
All right, great. Well, let's go ahead and back up a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about before getting to Istanbul.
Okay.
How much money should someone bring to Istanbul to sustain themselves until they get paid?
I moved there with like $6,000 just to be safe. When I got there, the first 3 weeks I was there, I wasn't working. So I wanted to be able to explore a little, and I wanted to be able to just kind of have a little bit of money like put away in case something happened. So I think if you started off with like $5,000, you'd be pretty good.
All right, how should someone pack? What's the weather like there?
Well, they have 4 seasons there, and I got there in August, and it was really humid. So I had, I was wearing. It's a Muslim country, so I wasn't wearing like tank tops and shorts, but I'd wear like a short sleeve shirt and shorts, not like really short shorts, and shorts for the summer. And then the fall comes, and you have a breeze, and you're wearing jeans and shirts. And then the winter, it's cold and. I guess I should say I'm from California, so cold to me is like 30 degrees, and it would snow in January and February. Maybe not a lot, but enough where I had to buy some snow boots, and I bought that stuff there. So I brought like one big coat because I knew it was going to be cold, and I brought a couple pair of jeans and short sleeve shirts and long sleeve shirts. So everything that you need as far as clothing goes, you totally can find it there. But I would just say pack a few outfits for the cold because it does get cold there.
What did you wear at work?
It was business casual, so I had to wear, skirts that went to my knee, and I could wear short sleeve shirts. I could wear tank tops as long as it looked business professional. The guys there, I don't recall them having to wear ties. They did have to wear collar shirts, long sleeve collar shirts. Some of them wore ties, but most of them didn't wear ties. So it's business casual.
All right. What are some things that you can't find in Istanbul that you should bring with you?
For women, tampons. Tampons are really hard to find, so I brought a lot of tampons. Brown sugar, so if you like to cook and you want brown sugar for your coffee or for baking or anything. Vanilla extract was another one that they didn't have. Those are the ones that come to my mind right now.
All right, let's talk about safety. How
Okay.
safe is it in Istanbul?
Well, I felt safe. But unfortunately, I did meet some girls who were attacked. So when I was out and about, I didn't wear my earbuds. I mean late at night because I would go out to the bars or I'd go out to a club. And so if it's 2 a.m. and you're taking a taxi home and you get dropped off and you have about a 10-minute walk, I was always just constantly looking around me and being aware because it's important to do that because unfortunately as a foreign woman, you can be preyed upon. So you just have to be really cautious and really careful. Was I ever attacked? No. Did I ever have someone follow me? Yeah, I did, but I was really mindful about how to like dodge them, get rid of them. So you just have to be totally aware.
All right. So you talked about doing things for fun on the weekends and being out late.
Mhm.
What are some things that you would do?
Well, my roommate and I, we had Thursdays and Fridays off together. So every Thursday we would have a culture day. So we would go to a museum, maybe go to a coffee shop because there's so many coffee shops there. A lot of people will go smoke shisha. In the evenings, there's so many restaurants. I was just so surprised at how many restaurants there were there. So we'd go out to eat, and then afterwards, we'd find like a dive bar. I mean, they have a lot of rooftop bars there, so people go to the rooftop bars. There's this one club, Araf, that I always went to. Like on Wednesday nights, they had traditional Turkish music, so I'd go listen to that. We'd always try to find, new places to go out, and there is such an abundance. If you want high class, you can go to Babek and get high class. If you want something a little bit more mellow, you can find an alleyway in Taksim Square and find like a dive bar. So from everything, they have film festivals there. If you want to do the tourist thing and go like see more of the history of the city, you can do that. There's so many parks to go and see that I feel like living there, I barely even scratched the surface. So there is always something to do. I've never met anybody who said, I'm bored in Istanbul. So that was definitely one of the coolest things about living there.
All right, how about travel? Do you think that Istanbul is a good travel hub?
When I lived there, I managed to visit Georgia to the north, Greece to the west. I wanted to go to Lebanon, which was down south, and I had a lot of friends who did. And it's nice because Istanbul is like where east meets west, so it's really easy to get to different parts of the world in Istanbul. So that was, I think it could be a good place to start if you're wanting to go anywhere in Turkey, or if you're looking to live in Istanbul and go west, like into Europe.
All right, so tell us about the pros and the cons of living there.
The pros, like I said, are definitely the capability to do pretty much anything that you want there. And within the city itself, the food, oh my God, I didn't even mention the food. The food is so good. Turkish food is amazing. I love Turkish food. It's really easy to meet people there. They have a really big expat community, and when I first got there, got in contact somehow through people that I met that these expats would just get together once a week and have coffee and go out to dinner. So I found meeting people to be really easy. It's a historical city, so there's, if you like history, there's a rich history there for you to explore and check out. It was really easy for me to travel. Cons, like I said, at times the safety thing, that wasn't the best. And we would joke when we would go out to bars that there was a yabancı tax on us. Yabancı means foreigner in Turkish. And sometimes they would just add an extra beer, an extra meal, and you'd say, hey, I didn't order that. Yes, you did. And we'd look at each other like, yabancı tax, even if we had Turkish people there. So that was kind of obnoxious. But the pay, too, wasn't the best, but in my personal opinion, the good outweighed the bad. And you're always going to have good and bad no matter where you live, whether it's in the United States or outside of the U.S.
Well, Carly, thank you so much for giving us information about Istanbul today.
Absolutely. My pleasure.